All right, so let's start over. First thing that we need to do is get our equation equal to 0. So in this case, is there anything on this side of my equation? Yes, no, what? No. So I'm just going to change my y to 0 because there's nothing over there. So I'm going x squared plus 3x minus 10 equals 0. Let's make this look like a squared. Okay, so far so good? All right, now we have to factor this guy. Okay, so this is where we have our two sets of parentheses, right? My two numbers have to do what? Tell me what properties my numbers have to have. They have to They have to do what to 3? You're right, they have to make 3. Oh, careful. They're going to add up to 3. Okay, they're going to add up to our middle term. But how am I going to pick those numbers? Yeah, they're going to be factors of 10. Okay, so what are some ways that I can get to 10? 5 and 2. Okay, am I going to be able to get with 5 and 2, am I going to be able to get to 3? Which one has to be positive and which one has to be negative? The 5 has to be positive, the 2 has to be negative. All right, so my factors are going to be x plus 5 and x minus 2. All right, so now we're going to take those two factors and we're going to set them both equal to 0. So I'm going to take x plus 5 equals 0 and x minus 2 equals 0. And then I have to solve for them. What do I have to do here? Minus 5. So x equals negative 5. Here I have to add 2. So x equals 2. And those two guys are my answers. Okay, so things that you need on your paper. You need, most of the time it's going to give you your equation. Okay, you need your two factors on there. You need to set them equal to 0, and then your answers. So, number 1. Okay, so we've got our equations. Now we have to make our factors. What are my two factors? Oh, but time out, not 2 and 2, because I'm trying to get, they're going to be factors of 3. So x plus 3 and x plus 1, because does 3 plus 1 get me to 4? Yep. Okay, so this equals 0. So now what do I have to do with each one of my factors? Set them equal to 0. So x plus 3 equals 0, and x plus 1 equals 0. And then we solve them. X equals negative 3, and x equals negative 1. Circle your two answers so I can find them. That would be super helpful today, because you're going to have some stuff on your paper. All right, so now we need to multiply to who? 24. We need to add to 11. So we got to find two numbers that multiply to 24 and add up to 11. 8 and 3. So x plus 8 and x plus 3 equals 0. Now what am I doing with those two equations? Set them equal to 0. So x plus 8 equals 0. X plus 3 equals 0. X equals negative 8. X equals negative 3. Easy peasy, right? If you remember how to factor. If you don't remember how to factor, not so easy peasy, right? Let's do number 6. How can I get to negative 20? All right, so you're right. We've got 5 and 4 are going to get me to 20. How am I getting to negative 1? Negative 5, positive 4. So my factors are x minus 5 and x plus 4. So x minus 5 equals 0. X plus 4 equals 0. So x equals 5, x equals negative 4. So far, so good, right? All right, let's take a look at number 9. Looks funny, doesn't it? Okay, so let's ask ourselves, is there anything that I can take out of those two things? Yeah, I can take out an x. I need a new pen. This one's crappy. All right, so if I take out an x, so we take out an x, and what do I have left over? X minus 8, yeah. Okay, now, I still have two factors, right? Don't forget about this one. We still have to set this guy equal to 0. So we're going to go, no, x equals 0, because he's a factor, and x minus 8 equals 0. Is this one already solved? Yep. So we've got x equals 0 and x equals 8. Nice, right? Okay, so let's look at 11. What can I take out? Oh, sorry, I thought we already flipped. I can take out a 6 and a x. And I am left with x, not just x minus 2. Okay, so what am I writing next? 6x equals 0 and x minus 2 equals 0. So divide by 6. So 0 divided by 6 gives me, so x equals 0 and x equals 2. All right, so look at 12. What can I take out of 12? 2 and x. I am left with 4x minus 3. Okay, this is still okay. What's my first thing I'm setting equal to 0? 2x equals 0. 4x minus 3 equals 0. So divide by 2 over here, I get x equals 0. Right here, what's my first step? Plus 3. So I have 4x equals 3. And then what do? Divide by 4, leave it as a fraction. X equals 3/4. So I have x equals 0. X equals 3/4. Okay, it's okay to get fractions. Questions so far? Yes, no? All right, let's take a look at 13. What do? Good. When there's no middle term, I can still factor it, right? As long as I have perfect squares, right? Do I have perfect squares? So x plus 8 and x minus 8. Good. Okay, just opposite signs. Okay, so let's do a little shortcut now. X equals -8 and x equals 8. Nice, right? All right, every once in a while, well, first let's look at 16. Perfect squares on both ends? Yep. So my factors are 3x plus 7 and questions on where we got those? You sure? All right. So 3x plus 7 equals 0. 3x minus 7 equals 0. Now we've got to solve it. What do I have to do? Minus 7. 3x equals -7. Divide by 3, x equals -7 thirds. Over here I add 7. 3x equals 7, x equals 7 thirds. Good. Thumbs up? All right, just one more thing we got to talk about. Sometimes they're not in standard form. So we need to put them in standard form. Okay, we need to get them to be equal to 0. Okay, so if I look at 17, what do I have to do with that 21? Yeah, I got to subtract 21 over to this side. So now I have x squared plus 4x minus 21 equals 0. Okay, so my two factors are x, you're right, I'm going to have 7 and 3. Which one's going to be plus, which one's going to be minus? -3 plus 7. Therefore, x equals -7 and x equals 3. Good. Okay. Look at number 20. I have to move what and what? I gotta move the 4x and the 1. So how am I going to move the 4x? We're just going to minus 4x. And I got to minus it from this x. And then what am I going to do with this 1? Subtract that 1. So now I have x squared minus 14x plus 48 equals 0. My factors are x and x. 6 and 8. Both negatives. Good. So x equals 6 and x equals 8. Boom. What do you think? Not horrible, is it? All right. Yeah.